Hi everyone, here's a quick recap of the gripping Netflix miniseries, Adolescence. Let's dive right in.
What your brain tells you to do when you're a kid.
Episode 1. Early in the morning, police storm into the Miller household where Father Eddie, Mother Manda, daughter Lisa, and 13-year-old Jamie live. Detectives Luke Bascom and Sergeant Misha Frank arrest Jamie on suspicion of murder. The terrified teen shouts to his father, insisting he didn't do anything. Jamie is taken to the station and told he must choose a guardian to stay with him during questioning. He chooses his father. Shortly after, he's placed in a holding cell. The family arrives at the station, and Eddie is informed that Jamie chose him to be his legal guardian during the investigation. Manda, Jamie's mom, doesn't understand why he didn't choose her. Next, Jamie undergoes humiliating medical tests, including a full body exam, despite his father's objections. Before the interview, his assigned lawyer, Paul Barlow, advises Jamie to answer all questions about the previous night with just one phrase: no comment. When left alone with his Eddie asks him directly if he committed the crime. Jamie firmly denies it. The official interrogation begins. Detective Bascom and Sergeant Frank begin the official interrogation. They show Jamie screenshots from his Instagram account, where he had reposted revealing photos of models, and under one of them, he had left some disturbingly aggressive comments. Then, the conversation shifts to Katie Leonard, Jamie's classmate, whose body was found in a parking lot the night before. Lawyer Barlow suggests a break, but Eddie, convinced of his son's innocence, insists they continue. Then, the bombshell. Bascom shows a surveillance video where Jamie is seen stabbing Katie repeatedly in that same parking lot. The interrogation ends abruptly. Eddie and Jamie are left alone. Eddie is horrified. Both father and son break down in tears. Jamie reaches out to his dad for comfort. At first, Eddie pulls away, but then he embraces his son tightly. Episode 2. 3 days after the murder, detectives Bascom and Frank visit the school where Jamie and Katie studied. Their goal? Speak to classmates, understand Jamie's possible motives, and locate the murder weapon. Coincidentally, Bascom's own son, Adam, also attends the same school. The school staff is overwhelmed, barely able to manage the students, all shaken by the tragedy. Rumors about Jamie's involvement spread fast, feeding the chaos. Katie's best friend Jade takes the news especially hard. She refuses to speak with police and later lashes out at Jamie's friend Ryan, blaming him for Katie's death. During a visit to the school nurse's office, the detectives try questioning Ryan. At first, he seems cooperative, but as soon as they mention the murder weapon, he gets nervous and walks out. Later, Adam explains to his dad how teens use emojis in social media to hide their real messages, and reveals that Katie had been calling Jamie an incel through coded posts. In other words, she was publicly cyberbullying him. This changes everything. As they try to talk to Ryan again, he suddenly jumps out a window. Bascom chases and catches him. Turns out the knife used to kill Katie belonged to Ryan. He's arrested as an accomplice. The school day ends. Sergeant Frank prepares the official charges against Jamie, while Bascom picks up Adam, choosing to spend more time with his son. Meanwhile, Eddie visits the scene of Katie's death. He places flowers in her memory. It's painfully hard for him to accept what had happened. Episode 3. 7 months have passed since the murder. Jamie is now in a juvenile psychiatric facility, and court psychologist Bryony meets with him in the Ariston district to prepare a mental health report for the trial. Recently, Jamie got into a fight with another patient. He's visibly frustrated, stuck in a psych ward while Ryan walks free. Bryony makes it clear from the start, her job is not to judge what happened, but to understand whether Jamie fully grasps the situation he's in. But Jamie tries to dominate the conversation, acting like an alpha male. Calmly, the psychologist brings the discussion back to deeper issues: his family, his upbringing, and how he views women. As the conversation unfolds, Jamie admits he sees himself as ugly, a freak. He says he and his friends were often bullied at school. Through gentle questions, Bryony pieces together the full story. Katie had taken a nude photo for a boy she liked. Without her permission, he shared it with the entire school. She was devastated. Jamie saw an opportunity. Thinking she'd be emotionally vulnerable, he asked her out, but Katie rejected him and laughed. Then she went further, leaving mocking comments on Instagram, calling him an incel. Jamie's mood keeps shifting throughout, swinging between friendly and hostile. Eventually, he indirectly admits to the crime. When Bryony tells him this is their final session, Jamie desperately asks if she likes him as a person. She refuses to answer, and that infuriates him. A guard is forced to remove Jamie from the room. Left alone, Bryony quietly breaks into tears. Episode 4. 13 months after the murder, it's Eddie's birthday. He turns 50. Lisa tells him that his van has been vandalized. Someone spray-painted an offensive message across it. No one in the neighborhood saw who did it. Eddie tries to scrub it off, but the paint won't budge. Two teens on bikes ride by, taunting him and calling him names. Furious, Eddie decides to take the family to the hardware store to buy chemicals and clean the mess himself. On the way, he suggests they go to the movies together to lift the mood. At the store, a young employee recognizes him and offers support, saying he's on Jamie's side. Eddie buys paint supplies and heads back outside, only to see those same teens again. A wave of fury hits him. He chases them down, grabs one of the boys, and starts shouting insults and threats. He demands they stop mocking him and his family. His wife and daughter watch in shock as Eddie angrily pours paint on the van. They leave. On the drive home, Jamie calls. He wishes his dad a happy birthday and quietly says he's planning to plead guilty. He doesn't realize his mom and sister are in the car, hearing everything. A heavy silence falls. When they reveal they're listening, they try to keep the conversation going, but the emotion is too much. Tears flow. Jamie quickly ends the call. Later, in their bedroom, Eddie and Manda reflect on their son. Manda says Jamie reminds her of Eddie. Eddie remembers how his own father used to beat him and how he swore to be a better parent. He tried, but the work took over, and he wasn't there enough. They tell each other they did the best they could. Still, Eddie can't help but blame himself. He says he trusted Jamie until he saw the video. Maybe, he says, Manda should have been the one by Jamie's side. Maybe she would have handled it better. Then Lisa enters. Eddie apologizes to her for everything. She shares that she's also being bullied, called the maniac's sister. But she insists they can face this together and shouldn't move away. Running won't fix anything. They decide to skip the movie and stay in, watching a film at home and ordering Lisa's favorite food. As she leaves the room, Eddie asks Manda how they raised such a strong daughter. Manda replies, "The same way we raised our son." Eddie then walks into Jamie's empty bedroom. He breaks down in tears, clutching Jamie's blanket. He places one of his son's stuffed animals on the bed, kisses it on the forehead, and softly whispers, "I'm sorry." Let us know your thoughts on this powerful series in the comments. If you enjoyed the recap, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.